Rehan Allahwala is the founder and president of Super Technologies Inc., a United States-based company started in the field of software solutions for the telecom industry. He is an entrepreneur with a seemingly insatisfiable appetite for starting new businesses. At the age of 13, he founded his first company called Pakistan Computers in Pakistan, and by the age of 16, he created Commodore computer accessories including voice digitizers, modems, and speed increasers whilst he was in high school. Now, he is the president and CEO of different companies around the world, including the United States, Malaysia, Singapore, Dubai, Europe, and Pakistan. Some of his apparent and most significant ventures are DIDX.net, Virtual Phone Line, Superphone, Mun2 Video Productions, Techistan Magazine, TV Pakistan, Paki.com, IPPABX.com, Health Management System, School Management System, Building Management System, and Rehan Autos. Rehan Allahwala is the expert in the field of VoIP, ERP systems, CRM systems architecture, VoIP network design, and international marketing. He regularly speaks on these topics in conferences and seminars around the world. Rehan Allahwala is the keen contributor in philanthropic works and supports various NGOs and charity foundations. He also founded the Rehan Foundation with the mission to eradicate poverty from the world. In this process, he has started Rehan School, Rehan University, Rehan Training, and is creating 100 small business models that can be started with only $100, with a goal of creating 1 million businesses at least in the next few years. He has said, "Let's create a platform that unites humanity and creates equality like never before."
Thank you, Ali and Bert, for giving me the opportunity to come and make some new friends. Normally I don't give talks. I'm not even prepared for talks, but if you guys have any questions, I would love you to go ahead and answer. I asked Bert what he wanted me to speak about, and he said my journey. So there's so many. Whatever you guys want to pick up would be lovely to talk about. Yes, go for it.
All right, so I'm very interested and inspired of the journey you've taken, and how come you started when you were 13? What conditions did you come from, and what made you do it?
I was very bored. That's the reason I started. There was no internet, there was no television at that age. When I was in Pakistan, the TV started at 6 p.m. So I started working from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And after that I had TV, so I could watch it. And I started when I was in a very early age with Commodore 64 games. I was pirating them, giving them away to people and charging for that. But I come from a decently wealthy family, from a business background. My father started from nothing, and he is into paper business. And all my life I grew up watching paper from Sweden and Finland. I used to be walking on the reels and going to the factory where he would convert the reels into packets, and we were the number one suppliers of newsprint paper in Pakistan to all the newspapers. So I used to go with him every weekend to work, and I used to think there should be some other way. And he used to be very hard on the employees, and I was like, there should be some other way. There should be some other way. And I was sent for training as an entrepreneurship, you can say, at the age of 9, 10. All my summers were spent in different shops, so I had to work. And I would come home and cry every night saying, why do I have to do this? I have to clean the toilets and wash the floors and work as just a laborer. But and I used to come home and complain to my mother, why am I doing this? I'm a wealthy person. I don't have to work all this. But later on in the years, it taught me a lot of lessons that which I would have never learned if I didn't work as a young entrepreneur, as a young person, as a job. And I'm very lucky to be born in a family with entrepreneurs. Everybody is an entrepreneur. The whole family is an entrepreneur. So in Pakistan, there are 3 communities who actually run the entire country's business. It's a big country, 200 million people, as we already discussed. One is Delhiwalas, people who migrate from Delhi. Then the second one is Chiliotis, which is part of a place in Pakistan. And the third is Memons, which is Gujaratis. I call them the Indian Jews. They're all into business. Nothing bad about it, but Jews are very creative in getting money. So I give them credit. And the best journey which I had was the last recent one. 5 years ago, I was asked a question, and the question was, if you were in front of God, what would you ask? And I had everything, and I thought, I live in a poor country. I've worked with people who work in health sector, education sector, and I thought maybe if you could end world poverty, if it's God who's supposed to do everything, let's end poverty and let's see if we can work on that. And then I was scared for a year, how am I going to do that? Then I heard Bill Gates say the same thing 2 years later, and I was like, okay, interesting. It was like kind of feeling what our distinguished speaker earlier was speaking, right? And he was telling all the things which I'm already doing, like the Future Project, and I've been doing in my own way for the last 5 years. I got really good at branding, so I created a large brand of myself. In the last 5 years, I got 750,000 people to follow me on Facebook. I got thousands of videos out there, talking, teaching, interconnecting people. And 5 years ago, our goal was to start teaching people entrepreneurship. And it turned out that it was impossible to teach anyone who's not ready to learn. I didn't know that it's an obstacle. So a year and a half ago, I started doing an experiment of thinking maybe I can create, this is how I think it now, but when I started, it was very crazy that, I was rejected US visa and Europe visa 26 times. So having a Pakistani passport, having all the money possible to travel, I was not allowed to travel by the embassies. This is something which most people don't realize, that especially in Europe, you don't realize that you can just pick up your passport, buy an easy air ticket and just go anywhere you want. We can't do that. And I loved traveling. And I was counting, it's my 52nd country now, even after that difficulty of having to travel. So I had a business incorporated in 1999 in the US. And I came back, I went first time and then I was traveling. 2003 after 9/11, I came back to Pakistan. And up till then I had like 10 rejections already, but still eventually I got it. And then I went and I came back to Pakistan. And they wouldn't let me back in. I had a company, I was growing it, and in the next 7 years I grew it to multi-million dollars, sitting in Pakistan. And Facebook emerged. And I had to learn, I never lived in the US, so I had to learn how to interact with people and how to do business in a country which I have never actually lived in. How would you do that? So I started making Facebook friends from all over the globe, especially in the US, especially in Silicon Valley. And I ended up making friends like Steve Wozniak of the world, and just got everyone on board. And then I asked the same with my employees, if you're working with us in Pakistan, you should know the American mentality. We've always been working 6 p.m. till 4 a.m. in the morning. But you should know how they think, how they react, how does a Western person think? A person who's never left a country making $200 a month, how would you teach them intercultural understanding? So I asked everyone to make friends on Facebook, and it helped us a lot. And then last year, January, eventually I was asked to speak in Harvard on an event, and I got the US visa after 11 years. I had never been. I went and I just met my friends after the talk, and I was sitting and I asked, how do I convert more people into connecting to each other? Because I've been connecting. Some people call me Nokia, connecting people. But it's just, that's what I was doing. And a friend suggested incentivize. So as I was telling you earlier at lunch, I started giving laptops to people for stealing my Facebook friends. So if anybody would come and take 500 of my Facebook friends, you get a laptop. So I wanted to see what happens to them, what happens to their mentality if they have 400 Facebook friends. Now these are people who are whoever, it doesn't matter who they are, as long as you can convince 500 white people to be your Facebook friends, you get a free laptop. Which means they would learn how to communicate, means they would learn how to speak English, it would mean they would have a Facebook structure which will allow you to accept them as a friend, because I had traveled by then and I knew that most people don't want to add anyone who they haven't met. But if you can create that skill set to, like this video, we created 5 years ago when I was not in the US and my customers started to tell me that you're not real. You don't exist because we've never seen you in any conference. We have never seen you. We have 25,000 telecom companies as our customers. And they would all tell, we would be at every conference. My staff would go from the US, but this just never met me. So one of my friends, one of my customers told me, I think you're not real. You're hiding. You did something very cynical. That's why nobody lets you get in. You must have done something very wrong. And that's when I decided to create a video and I started speaking to the customers. YouTube was already there. So I started talking. So everything which I have done has been because of a problem. And I never went to college or university to learn. So my education, the box education, is still the high school. I've never been to college or university to study. My English comes from CNN. So this is how I have been creating different things, and the latest experiment has led us to measure that now I have 300 people who have won the laptop in a year and a half. And every single person who actually started talking, initially they're like, and Bert is on my Facebook, I get mocked and I get cussed almost every day by the so-called Islamists or this group or that group, radicalized people everywhere, right? And these are people who are just coming online. Now, I don't know how many of you know, but in India and Pakistan, 60 to 70% of the country cannot read their own name in any language. Now, how difficult is that to even digest, you know? 120 million people of my own country cannot read their name in any language, forget about educating them. But all of a sudden, they have Facebook. And all of a sudden, they have a cell phone which they can buy for $20. And they have Facebook Zero, which is a free data service by Facebook that they can start using Facebook for free, no charge. And now they're using Facebook, and they have never been to school. They don't know how to read, but they're watching faces, they're watching videos. And more recently, I started documenting all this, because this only started a year ago. And now you're seeing, just like by the presence of cell phone, people started to SMS without learning. All of a sudden, people are now Facebooking without ever don't know how to read, but they can watch videos, they can watch faces, so they're encouraged to start using it. And it's going to change the world radically. I think I'm most excited about those people who have never been educated. Because once you're educated, you know this is right and this is wrong. But once you're never educated, you don't know what is wrong. If you go on YouTube and look for things, you create things. Like Edison, he did not know he can invent a bulb. Or the guys who invented the Wright brothers. They didn't know they can not fly, but they can just learn on their own, and that's how I learned. I learned everything on my own. I went to people and asked, how do I do this? If we have enough curiosity, we can go out and learn things. So this experiment allowed me to document 300 people who, when we asked them, if they're Pakistanis, we asked them, do you hate Indians? Oh, yes. Do you hate Jews? Yes. Oh, they're the whole problem of the whole world. Do you hate Americans? Yes, because of them we have all these problems, right? And it turns out when they start talking to these people, their mindset starts to change because they've never experienced a conversation with a Jew, an Indian, or an American before. They are willing to go and die in a jihad against Israel or against an Indian or for Kashmir, but they have never talked to an Israeli before, they've never talked to a Palestinian before, they've never talked to a Kashmiri before. So I started growing this experiment, and now I have given laptops in Israel, in Palestine, in India, and so this has been going on, and this is the most exciting thing ever for me, because all of a sudden these people are interconnected to the globe, and it's like a filtering process for me. Before they come to me, or if they want like this time from me, they have to go through this process of go make new friends, because now all of a sudden you will look at things in a very different mind way. And whenever you will post something, say for example you're from Bangladesh, right? 99.99% of Pakistanis don't know anything about Bangladesh. And 99.99% of Bangladeshis hate Pakistanis. And they don't know why they hate them. They have no clue, what happened. But all of a sudden, I did not know that there was hate, because they never say it on the face. The person you hate, you never tell them on their face that you hate them, but you post about them. And when you go and see these posts from these people, and you see, really? I mean, where did this come from? So this data, which is all of a sudden emerging for all of us, it's very interesting to bump into these accidents. And more than any time in the world, I think it's more important to know people who you hate, who you don't trust, and it's safe, you can unfriend them. I mean, what maximum can they do? Block the button. They don't have visas, they can't come in. They can't, even if they want, they can't just come in. So I think it's about time that we stop telling to our children that, that stranger, you're not supposed to talk to them. I think it should be opposite. Well, that's a stranger, let's talk and find out why are they strange? Why are they so different? Why are they wearing something weird, like different from us? And by the way, this is the official dress of Pakistan. If you're a prime minister or a minister, you wear this. So that's what this is. It's called a sherwani.
Do you want to be candidate for presidency?
Okay, so up till 6 years ago, I wanted to be the president. And then Facebook came. And then I found out that I can change the world without being the president. Why do you want to be the president? You want to change the world. So if you can do it without being mocked at, if you want to be the president of any country, you have to be ready to get really bad heat from half the population, at least, right? And if somebody can tell me why that happens, because they go through the same school system, they go through everything, and half become Democrat and half become Republican, how does that happen? I don't know. But if you want to be mocked at, run for any public office, and people will find stuff about you. And I've done many bad things, so I don't want people to find them. So yes, I would like to fix things, because one of my friends who's a politician, I asked him, what is politics? So he said, guiding people. So that's all I do all day long over Facebook. So I would encourage you today to add some new friends over from here. Like for example, we have a gentleman called Bilal here. He found me somehow on Facebook and he appeared here, and that's what happens. I get stalked a lot now because people just find me and they want me to spend time with them, because I give them the feeling that I'm listening to them, or at least online. And if more people could do the same, I think the world would change. So my journey of connecting people has been really phenomenal for me. It's very enriching. I do it for myself. I have now friends almost everywhere I go. I can get free lunches. It's very, it's very incentivizing. So, Ali, if you have any questions, I need more friends from Iran, by the way. It's very difficult to find people.
I will provide you.
Yes.
I have a big family.
There you go.
So maybe we can open up the floor for more questions.
Please.
I liked your.
And you're one of the victims, by the way, of my
yeah, what was that? But I was a good victim. By the way, I got some people. I got a lot of people from Europe, from the country, and people advised me against. You're a woman also. It's not that you're white or you're from. As a woman, how are you going to deal with people that are also Muslims and they think you're against them? But actually, it has gone very well. Besides a couple of them, so as you say, okay, I think you're not interested in whatever I'm selling, so you cannot use the thing that I have there. beside them. So I got a lot of friends, and they were actually so nice people. It was good. And I got your biography of your your film that you put there when you were a child. No, even a child, like 13 years old. How you start your business for selling first the Coca-Cola in the school and so. I find it very fascinating and very, very funny. So I think you should tell other people also. I like that very much.
Well, my father never gave me any pocket money, so I had to be creative and make some money, right? So I started selling stationery in our school to my classmates. We don't get free stuff in our country, so we have to buy from the canteen. That was the first reason to make money. I never actually enjoyed making money ever, but I was forced to do it in many ways. So this was the first experience. Then I was a very nationalistic person because I was a good singer. I was disallowed to sing. So my mother said you will only sing national songs anymore. I said okay. So I started singing national songs. So nationalism became part of me. And if you would go back and look at the products I made, every single one had made in Pakistan. The reason I made them was that I saw no electronics being made in Pakistan. I wanted to show the world that there could be something made in Pakistan. So, and I'm like I would say I'm expert in failing, right? So I try everything, and I was talking earlier to Pat, and I think it's extremely important to learn to fail. And my daughter, who was I failed at class 7, flunked, and my reward was a computer, Commodore 64. My father was brave enough to buy me a gift rather than to fail. And same thing I did for my daughter. When she was in class 6, she failed, and I celebrated it. And I have come up with a small little entrepreneurial guide for like 7 pages. Anybody who wants to start a business, they should learn to do it quickly, fail, learn again, start all over again, so that they can just. It's about those people, right? It's about the people we are around. It's not that we can't do it. It's that we are fearful of other people. What would they think? What would this person think if I fail? What would this person do? Just like he was saying, we would be sort of crucified if we would, in a company, if we would just fail, which is very wrong. As one of my teachers said, when we are younger, every single child learns walking by falling down, and we never say, "Don't try again." Right? We say, "Try again. You can do it." But when we fail in business or when we do something creative, and we fail, we're like, "I told you so. You should never do this." So this is somehow because of the grades in the school, which I heard that you guys don't have. You never fail in your schools. So I heard that there's no grading system in the school. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I heard. But that sort of, so this course I've created is for 12-year-older to 17-year-olders to start a company with 3 people together in 10 minutes. And you start a company, and it's so easy. You take 3 people, identify a problem among them, take their first names, initials, call it XYZ company, and that's it. That's your company. And then you take a problem. Okay, what is the problem you face? Okay, I say this problem. Okay, that's the mission statement of the company. And then how would you do it? And then that becomes the vision statement of the company. There you have it. You have a company. Then you go to moo.com, order some business cards, and you have your photo on there. You have a company. And you make a Facebook page, a LinkedIn page. You make your groups. And then you find mentors. You find the people who have done this before. You go out and hunt for them, and you add 10 people and request them for mentorship. Done. I mean, you will not fail. If you try for 2 years, if you fail, fine. You close it. You are now 14. What's the big deal? You lost $10 with moo.com for business cards.
The main thing that I was thinking of that's both brave, very courageous, and it was also funny that when you started, when you were like 14 years old, people came to home and asked for your father.
Well, that was the most funniest part for me. Like everybody I used to put newspaper ads, and people would come to my home and ask for my father. I said, "Who are you looking for?" "Rehan." I'm Rehan. No, you're looking for your father. He placed an ad in the newspaper. I am the one who placed the ad in the newspaper. Nobody would believe me. So yes, it was a little funny, and at that time I want to be older, but now I want to go back and wish I was 21 again. Yes, please.
I believe you are a great inspirer, and I wonder, who do you get inspired by and why?
When I was younger, there are 3 people in my country which inspired me a lot. And one became a governor, one is still around, and there was another company. And the most thing which excited me was, like, my father always told me, if you want to succeed in your business, you have to do everything yourself. I was like, no, there's something wrong. Nestle, Lever Brothers, I don't know their German, but 50% of the entire country's products are made by them. We're doing something wrong, that we have to go and do something. So I wanted to be like a Lever or a Nestle. Why can't we become, from our country, something like that? So my inspiration was always these multinationals who have done really phenomenal for the world. And now, I mean, I'm inspired by people like Richard Branson, who just go out and put themselves out there and let things fail. And he's my biggest inspiration. And other inspiration comes from poverty. When I see that these people have nothing, really they have nothing, but they're happy and they feel helpless. And now I see Facebook, which really, I can take almost anyone who is extremely poor, but if he has Facebook, I can change their life in like 2 weeks. Their whole life will change because they will be surrounded by so many amazing people who would not let them fail. And that's what Facebook does. So if I take your profile and I publish this is what this girl wants, by tomorrow I bet you'll have 500 more people who would want to sort of help you do free programming, all kinds of stuff. It's weird because I've collected that network of people. And I was telling you earlier, I'm waiting, I don't know why, but this thing that I want to have 500 people who have 500 mutual friends who know every single person in the room already. So when you come into that room, you will know 500 people who you already know. Oh, you're like, oh my God, how are you? Just like you and I together. I mean, she knew me. This is the first time I'm meeting, but it doesn't feel like it's the first time. This is the second time I'm meeting Bert, and it doesn't feel like that. It's not real. It's like every single day he wakes up, Rehan's there, and Rehan's there. I had one friend who was friend with me over MSN Messenger. I don't know how many of you remember that. ICQ. And then I moved to Yahoo, then went to Skype. And I met him last year in Boston, and he said, are you sure we're meeting for the first time? Because every day I wake up and I see you first thing, on my Facebook. And how is it possible that we have never met before? So it's very interesting how these social networks are changing everything. And I want to use it for disruption. I mean, we have disrupted video, we've disrupted music, we've disrupted everything else, right? Why not disrupt the borders using internet? Why don't we just disrupt the hate? What is an enemy, by the way? What does it even mean? An enemy is a person who does not agree with your ideology, right? But if the guy doesn't know what your ideology is, that's the problem. So go and have a communication with them. Whoever you think is your enemy, for God's sake, go and talk with them, because you will find out they're actually exactly like you. There's no difference. They end up having same meals, same problems, same mama problems, same papa problems, and that's what it is. It's this. What in 21st century enemy, sir?
Have you ever been employed?
Oh, good question. No. One day.
One day.
I didn't like it at all. I was in Australia and I wanted to go. I was told to go and knock the doors and try to sell something. It wasn't me. I was employed without salary a few times when I was very young. It's because I was told to work certain hours. And that's, I think, what the definition of employment would be. And as you were saying, I'd say exactly that. You would not believe me, but I'm telling you, I'd say exactly the same thing. Why do you want? People tell me every day, inbox me, I want a job. Why? Wow, like the word in our language is knocker. Knocker literally means a slave. And they're asking for slavery. Can you please find me some slavery? Hello, why? Why? Why on earth do you want to be a slave? I mean, if you want to, sure. But once I say it to them like this, they're like, no, really, we don't. What do we do now then? Like, they're lost. They're lost. I mean, I don't know what to tell them. They're really lost. But as soon as somebody goes to education system, they're like, fuck. Sorry for my French.
But can you see a difference? It's the younger generation. Are they more, it's like people ask you, it's like, could you give me a job? I need to be employed. It's like, can you see a difference in generations? Or
I see a difference in cultures. When ICQ came and I was started to traveling, I used to friend people. I've always friended people before I traveled to a country, right? I would make up excuses to find, talk to the young girls and everything. So how would I do that? I would ask them time. What time is it in your country? How is the weather? And I'm telling you, nobody in France ever replied. Nobody in Germany ever replied. Nobody. I mean, I didn't know any Swedes. And if I would reply to somebody, a message of someone in Singapore, instant reply. Malaysia, instant reply. There's something about the culture, the friendliness, and the fear factor is different in many, many, many countries. It is there, but it's going to change. And you guys can hopefully help us all change it, because this Facebook thing is very weird. It's you have the live video going, and I don't know how many people are watching right now, and it's changing. It's changing every single. I didn't think I would. My mom is a ninja, like she covers her face and everything. So I'm telling you, she's changed. She has now 8,000 Facebook friends, and she's changed. She's totally changed. She's like, she doesn't even realize that she's changed. My brother, who was on my Facebook, he was one of the first early ones, and we almost never talked. He is only one of the first ones who had 500 mutual friends. And he just started doing grand things. All of a sudden, one day I woke up and I saw him do really great, good things. He was learning. But it just happened like, one day you see the first flower in a tree, where you wait for 10 years, and it just happens. And this is happening all over me, all around me. I can see these people just blossoming. And everyone, whoever interacts, I mean, so a lot of people say, well, how would it change to just add people? How would you just change that? Your newsfeed changes. When you wake up, you see different newsfeed. If you're from Iran, for example, you're more than likely to know about Iran. If you're from Sweden, the chances are all your Facebook friends are mostly Swedish. So you learn about the Swedish politics. You learn about everything about Swedes. But what if I could flip it? What if you had 10%, you're Swede, you had 10% Swedish friends and you had 90% Pakistani friends? What will happen to you? I have a friend from Israel, my first friend from Israel, who has 1,500 Pakistani friends. I'm telling you, this is how he started. Assalamu alaikum Rehan bhai, how are you? Aap kaise hain? It's Urdu word. I have never met him in my life. He has totally flipped. He was one of the most angriest person I know. He's calm. Oh, no problem. They're like this. Everything is high, because he's interacted enough. And he's Jewish. He's very, very Orthodox Jewish. And I started with him, hello, mashlubha, and I'm like, I've never been to Israel, but it's so weird how this whole wiring has changed just because we consume different content. I can guarantee, if I take you to Pakistan, put you there for 1 year, you will change. Because you will have nobody to speak to Swedish with. It's just wiring will change. Who are we? We're just machines, biological machines, taking data and processing it. That's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
How does it work with Japanese?
Very difficult to find friends. Since the disaster happened, and since then Facebook has grown in Japan. The Japanese were never using Facebook. I have one experiment going on with the Japanese guy. I randomly picked him, and I added him. I do this. I added people, and then now he's adding my friends. Because it's like if you will add me, you will Pat yesterday got added, and he got 50 people attacking him. I have this brigade of people who would just add you because they want the free laptop, and it's simple, So it's now he's being bombarded, and he's like, I'm not going to accept them. Fine, let's see how. He will unfriend me. he has no other choice. He will either unfriend me or start to open his follower function, which is the amazing thing, by the way. This follower function is phenomenal. Zuckerberg has 80 million followers. You can have too. I mean, it's like being on CNN every day. You just open up your follower function, and then people just follow your public post. Whatever you're saying publicly, you allow them to see. I mean, nothing to hide, right? If it's public, why wouldn't you want a gazillion people to know? So by being my friend, you get a lot of free followers, and you don't have to friend them. They don't get to see anything private. So with Japanese, this guy, I'm wondering what will happen to him, because with 6 months, I'm just monitoring. I can't speak Japanese. He doesn't speak Urdu or English. His name is even in Japanese, but he's adding. He has like 200 of my friends already in his friend list. And that's very interesting. I would love to, I think one day I'll wake up and he will say, Assalamu alaikum, Rehan bhai, how are you? That's what is going to happen. Yes, please.
You're not seeing, I mean, I'm sure you do, but I just wanted to hear you say, what side effects are you seeing? I mean, isn't it the risk that I mean, with all these followers, that you have your reality there somewhere, and you lose contact with the actual real reality?
I don't know what reality is. So my reality is that I'm here today, right? My reality is I'll be in Norway tomorrow. My reality always, I sometimes wake up and thinking, where am I today? My understanding is that your created reality, you don't disrupt. By having followers, you don't get to disrupt it. Yes, if you're famous, you have certain advantages and certain disadvantages. You go into a public space and somebody will spot you that this is somebody I know. It's like writing a book, or it's like you're a writer. So if you had a photo of yours on your book, people might recognize you for your work. And you want to be recognized. Most people want to be recognized for their work. If you are doing good thing, hello, why are you hiding? We live in a very interesting time where everybody gets their 10 minutes of what's that called? Popularity?
Fame.
Yeah, fame. And it's very, very interesting time, because now everybody can empower themselves and brand themselves to a certain extent. You know, I was in a Jewish-Muslim conference 2 months ago in Berlin. I was scared. I didn't even tell anyone. I'm going to a Jewish conference. I'll be like, this is the agent. I'm also, by the way, I'm infamous to be known as CIA, Pakistani ISI, Mossad, RAW. Nobody ever sells me a check, but they just call me names that I'm from all these agencies, because I'm always talking about the other guy, you know. And I'm the only one who's talking about the other guy, you know. Why? How about thinking about them? So by having followers, it's just like your book thing. It's basically like your book thing. The moment somebody writes write a nice thing on Facebook and they get a lot of likes, it makes them feel good. It's like a like economy now.
For me personally, I just feel that you kind of nourish the ego culture a little bit as well.
I didn't make it, Zuckerberg made it. I'm just taking it to a different way. I'm using it in a different way. And I wish more people would use it. At this Jewish-Israeli conference, everybody who I added, of course, was spammed by Pakistanis, or added by them. Somebody asked me, what do you want? And I told them, I wish every Palestinian in Palestine had 1 million followers. Because then the real story will come out. The real story does never come out, because there people are, you know, like every Bangladeshi had 1 million or 10 Pakistani followers, dude, there would be no problem. Everybody would know what the reality is. There would be empathy about that person firsthand. It's like, hey, my friend is there, he's not lying. I know him for 5 years. There's a relationship. It's a very, very powerful. I started my US business with a friend I met over email. And she came to my wedding, she was there, and I had my entire family from my mother's side lived in the US. I never asked them for help. I didn't really know them. But this other person, I trusted her so much, and she trusted me. She said, here's my social security, start a company. And that's the trust level which comes in after you know someone for a long time. Bert just put me on the spot. He just met me physically for a second time. But what is physical? So with VR coming in, with the layer, as Elon Musk said, that you'll have an upgrade, I don't know what will happen in 10 years. I'm very scared for the reality, as you say, for the future.
I just want to add something.
Facebook or social media is like also real life, depending. Someone told me on Facebook that, yeah, but Facebook is not my real life. I was just.
It's an
So,
extension.
many people, maybe it's for them it's fiction or something, but it is like reality also. There are a lot of people that are false people. They don't want to be themselves. But if you're really honest to yourself and your Facebook is presenting who you really are, so after a while, the people and other people, many of them maybe are there and eventually they're going to tire out. But also you meet a lot of people that are also honest and want you to know them. And then you're going to, as I also realized, you're going to make good friends that you wouldn't probably meet in
otherwise.
there,
Yes.
like in Gothenburg or somewhere else. But you really know some really interesting people if you really put your mind and soul to it. So that is really true.
Yes.
I just had like 50 friend requests, same phenomenon after
Yeah.
connecting with you. And I'm not super familiar with like what bots are or like what kind of.
There's no bots in there.
I don't know what, I mean, is there any, because I haven't gone through, one person I said, well, why are you interested, or like what's your, and she responded, which was really cool. But I'm asking like, because I have kind of a, like maybe
Private
fear
life.
around it, private life, but also like, are these even real people? Are they, is there things that they can do to access my account if I connect with someone that isn't?
Great question.
But
As I said to you, first of all, yesterday, to open your follower function.
Yes.
The moment you add follower, it's everything which you're posting publicly. I can go right now and stalk you and see everything right now, right? It's public. So the follower function is nothing except it's an RSS feed. You're allowing them to Facebook. You're giving permission to Facebook to send your public updates to them like a newspaper, right? To me, Facebook is nothing but like a newspaper. Right? You select the people who write, you curate your news for you. So if you friend them, all those 50 people, your news feed will start having a new flavor of spice from Pakistan, for sure. And then you will realize, really? Really? I mean, for a few days it will go like, really? I mean, it's like me, I'm here, like I was saying, and I'm in a Barbie town. Everybody's blonde and, slim and, I don't see that ever in my country. So it's different, right? So the difference is what makes the world more beautiful. And no, they're not bots because Facebook is very, very hard on bots now. It's impossible to be a bot anymore. Like in 10 minutes you will be deleted. Second, Facebook will not allow in future to have fake names on Facebook. Like even now, if somebody reports that you have a fake name going on, they will just block your ID. Bye. Get a new one. Get a real one. Or they will ask you for a passport card. So they're very hard on it. They want Facebook to become like the identity of the future. Now, can somebody hack? No. Somebody can hack into your account, but they can now access, if you friend them, now you have to have access to your friend posts. So whatever you're posting, and I don't think anybody posts anything like my bank account number is this and my password is, nobody posts that. So you can't really hack them. But be careful. But have followers, and followers from other parts of the world, because it gives you the flavor. You know this thing you put under the thingy? What do you call it? Snooze. We call it naswar, right? And you can buy like in 20 cents like kilo, and it's just bulk. You can just everybody who enjoys it. I had my 3 snoozes the other night. It was amazing. It was like flying. But it's just, it has been in our culture forever. And I was at this 200 Nation dinner, and this Indian guy was like, you tried this shit thing? Because in Pakistan, all the working class, this is their high thing. This is what they or in India, the same thing. They get high on these, because it's very, very cheap, 20 cents a kilo. So he was like, and I said, dude, you're losing out. Introduce news in the VIP way, like a purse, a $2,000 purse back in India, why not? It's a great opportunity for the world to learn from each other. I don't know what will happen in 20 years when it will all submerge and become one. Maybe we'll look for alien life forms. Sir?
Yeah, I just like to share something. Before you said that if you add you on Facebook, you get 500 people.
Not if you're blonde, yes.
Yeah. But anyway, I actually, before you just said that, I was adding you. And then when you said
They will come to you.
it's coming 500, I thought, oh, it feels good. So I just like to share, maybe to you, that when I have been on Facebook for a long time, and I decided early to say yes to everybody who was asking to be my friend. And it has been, been on Facebook for a long time. And I love it. And I love what you're telling about all these things. And
But you know you can only add 5,000 people.
yeah, this was actually my question, because the limit of 5,000, how do you do with this?
You can only have followers. So every day I have to remove 10 people.
Ah, that's what you do.
I have a filter. If you want to be if you are a Pakistani, you are not in the Guinness Book of World Record, and you want to be my friend, you have to steal 1,200 of my friends before I even add you. I mean, because I have enough Pakistani, I don't want to add anymore. If you're a Guatemalan, maybe, yeah, I'll add you. So, thank you very much.